But the manager we want for our Real Madrid project is Jurgen Klopp.
Oh.
On Monday, if we win the elections, our director Raul will get in touch with Klopp. Fantastic. There we are. Go on, Alex.
Well, again, he's taking a leaf out of Florentino's book because he's saying, look, after the elections, and he's not promising to get this guy, he's saying that we'll ask. Basically, we'll go and talk to Klopp. Now, our information has been, and my colleague Roger has reported that there's already been contact between Enrique Riquelme's camp over the last couple of weeks and Jurgen Klopp and people close to Jurgen Klopp as well. He has been their number one. The reason they haven't announced that beforehand is because they haven't been successful in convincing him to come on board. And this is essentially an acknowledgement of that. It's them saying, well, look, we will send Raul, you know, sort of the biggest name, a history, of course, in German football as well, with Schalke, so some sort of connection there, to Klopp, to go and talk to Klopp and try and convince Klopp. But once again, this is a post-election promise. So if we get in, we'll try and make this happen. I think it's the right call. Again, I think it's the right name to go for. But like I say, I also think it's an acknowledgement that they haven't been able to get Klopp to say yes previously.
What's the percentage chance, by the way, for this election, Alex?
Florentino is the massive favourite. I think that Riquelme might do okay, might outperform what initial expectations might have been. You know, I think initially we kind of thought an overwhelming victory for Florentino. Look, we don't know. Like I say, it's been 20 years since we last had a contested election at Real Madrid. I've seen lots of opinion polls. None of them, it's only members that vote. So it's very different asking fans for their opinion and Real Madrid members. Their makeup is different. They may be a little bit older, a little bit more conservative. But I think that Florentino will win convincingly. But I think that Riquelme will get enough votes to sort of, you know, have a creditable performance and one that maybe sets him up nicely for the future, for the next elections, for the post-Florentino Perez kind of era.
What an understatement that is, a little older and a little more conservative. Riquelme, of course, says that Erling Haaland will be wearing the whites of Real Madrid if he gets in, Nadem. He's going to leave at some stage, isn't he? It's inevitable. How long do you think he's got left?
Erling Haaland at
Yes.
City? I don't know, probably another 3-4 years, to be honest. I can't see this Real Madrid thing being a thing. And, you know, when we think about some of the problems that Real Madrid have had over the last couple of years, I wouldn't think necessarily bringing another number 9 would solve all of those issues. So yes, it sounds nice. You can have the AI of the shirt and all this stuff, but in to City, you know, not necessarily tied down to a Guardiola. I think he's going to be a big part of these next few years for City in terms of trying to, you know, reclaim the Premier League title.
Do you believe that, Mark? 3 to 4 years?
No, because I think Pep Guardiola leaving City does change things a lot. I think Haaland stays there certainly for next season. But you know, Guardiola is why these players signed for Man City. Obviously, they want to win trophies to be well paid, but Pep Guardiola was the main attraction. That isn't the case now. Enzo Maresca is a good coach, but he's not Pep Guardiola. And right from the outset of Haaland's career, you know, there was this kind of strategy that was in place by his family and his people that he would play in a lot of leagues in Europe. You know, he was in Norway, went to Austria, went to Germany, and obviously he's been so successful at City and so well paid that that's kind of slowed down a bit. But there is still a sense that he will play in the league at some point, and I think it's a case of who can afford him, because neither Real nor Barcelona, you would think right now, have got the financial ability to sign Haaland. Certainly Barcelona haven't, but Cam Real, like Alex was saying, they don't really go for huge fees anymore. So, you know, Haaland is a player that will command a big fee. City stated in the statement yesterday that there is no release clause, no escape clause. So he won't come cheap. But obviously he joined City on a fairly low transfer fee from Dortmund, so maybe there might be some arrangement there whereby he can leave for a modest fee. But right now I think that he'll definitely get another year out of Haaland at City. But I think Pep leaving changes everything. And we don't know what's going to happen with the 115 charges, which you would think at some point might come during the remaining 8 years of his contract.
Nadem has his hand up.
All right.
Yeah, it was just yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Dan. The magic of TV. So yeah, I think in regards to say Haaland potentially moving, I hear people say this guy signed because of Guardiola and so on and so forth. But then if, say, for example, Haaland was to go to Real Madrid, is he going to Real Madrid because it's just Real Madrid? Or is he going, like, is it for Jose Mourinho, whose stock at this moment in time isn't anywhere near as good as it was, say, maybe 10, 15 years ago? You know, there are other situations like that where, you know, he's linked to this club, linked to that club. But what is the thing that's going to draw him towards that space? Because in terms of competitiveness and a sort of overall feeling of a football club wanting to be successful, you know, City will be able to offer many of those things. And so if it's not a case of, you know, Guardiola leaving, now he has to leave. If he leaves, who does he cover the most? I think you could maybe say a Luis Enrique at PSG, but I don't think that's going to be something that's going to happen. So that's why I believe he's probably going to stay there for another 3-4 years.
What's the appeal, Manchester over Madrid, Nathan?
I think primarily it's the amount of rain and H2O that you can have here. You'll
Right.
never worry about droughts. It'll never get too hot. You know, sometimes it might get a little bit too cold. But I think also, you know, Real Madrid, it's acknowledged that, you know, in terms of size, they are the biggest club in all of football. You know, we think how big and significant football is. But there is still more to it. Like we've just spoken about Olise not wanting to go to Real Madrid, for example, potentially, given what his personality type is like. So it's not like at the moment you get the call, you have to go, because this Real Madrid in this moment isn't the same as it was, say, maybe 3-4 years ago, when they had a bit more like energy around them, and you can almost guarantee they're going to be in a Champions League final. So this is a changing of the guard.
Oh,
and maybe Manchester, with all the beautiful rain, is
Nathan, come on. Come on, it's Real Madrid.
Dan, I think it.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you didn't say that about Olise, did you? You didn't say that about Olise, did you? Come on, behave yourself.
I'm just saying. When I worked there, they didn't make it past the knockout stage of the Champions League, yet you still bring in Kaká, Zidane, Figo. You bring the whole shebang, because the name it is.
Yeah.
What would you say about older
Dan, I think
conservative?
there's one thing that I pointed out.
Please carry on.
There's one thing with Man City over the years that, you know, they've always been very good at keeping the best players. You know, Sergio Aguero never left until they were ready for him to go. Kevin De Bruyne. City are extremely powerful, and even Real Madrid couldn't get the best stars out of Man City. And I think that is still the case. You know, City have got immense wealth, immense power, but it's Real Madrid, and I think the same goes for Olise. You know, I agree with you guys that Olise shouldn't leave Bayern Munich right now, but it is Real Madrid. It's the one club in the world where you think it would press a few buttons, but right now you probably wouldn't go there in the sense that it's a bit of a mess. But it's Real Madrid, and you can never take that away.
And Real Madrid have been rubbish, of course. Oh, sorry.
Well, the caveat is next season, Manchester City. We're assuming they're going to be good. We're assuming they're going to be competitive. We're assuming that they're going to win the league. What are we assuming here?
We don't even know their manager at the
Correct.
moment, Ali.
There you go.
Sort out, yeah.
So we're taking a lot
Sort
of
out your own
assumptions.
house.
Yes,
Nathan,
absolutely.
start throwing stones at others.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Lamine Yamal has been named the Spanish Player of the Year in La Liga. Hansi Flick, Coach of the Season. Carlos Espy, the Under-23 Player of the Season. Lamine Yamal, what's going on? Will he be playing in the group stages, Alex?
Well, every time that Luis de la Fuente, the coach, talks, he says that Lamine Yamal is going to be fit, is going to be available for the start of the World Cup. But there's always also the caveat there that he says, well, that doesn't mean he's going to start. Doesn't mean he's going to start the first game. Remember, Spain's first couple of games, in theory, are straightforward. Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. They've got Uruguay in the third game in the group. So there's no need to rush him back in those first couple of group games if they don't want to. So I think there will be caution. I think they'll be desperate not to rush him at all. But look, Luis de la Fuente says that so far in training, signs are good. Spain flew to the States today. Just before we came on air, they arrived in Chattanooga, where their training camp is in Tennessee. And look, they say that Lamine Yamal in training looks good. But still, for him to be starting in that first game in the group in Atlanta, I'd be surprised.
Chattanooga is such a fun word to say.
Yes.
Are you going to be there, Alex?
Chattanooga.
I will be there. Yeah, I'm flying next Friday.
Yes.
Can you spell Chattanooga?
Nope.
All right.
But I can say it, Chattanooga. The old Chattanooga choo-choo train. Thank you, Alex. Much appreciated. Let's take you through